Yes, we are now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, who do we have on the call or in the room? I know you have her on.
In the room, we have Noel Stapp and Ron Bees. And on the
Okay.
line, Cody, can you let us know who's online?
Yes. We have Rita Weiss, Dr. Yummy Pandolfi, and Michelle Wyckoff online, in addition to Joycelyn.
Yes, go on.
Okay, I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. I guess we just did the roll call.
Yes.
So then I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
So,
One second.
Do we have, okay, it's been moved in second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
next up is the,
We need this, if you don't mind, any names.
oh, any nays? Any abstentions? Okay, agenda has been approved. Trying to get both screens running. Next up would be approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved. Do we have a second?
Michelle, second.
Thank you, Michelle. All those in favor,
Hi.
please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Any nays? Any abstentions? Okay, on to the board policy reviews. At this point, I'm going to pass it over to Aaron. And I think you can walk us through those. That would be great.
sure. So we have 5 policy revisions that we're presenting to the Personnel Committee today. And with me is Jennifer Ridley, who will go over each of them and kind of explain how they relate to each other and how they relate to other moves we're making in our payroll system. Jennifer?
Okay.
Okay, the first one that is on the agenda is board policy number 336, which is policy called performance and salary review. The recommendation of staff for this particular policy is to remove the where it refers to performance and pay together, because at this point they are separate items and are being treated as such. We still do performance engagement, improvement, recognition, staff development. We use a formal written model for that review, but we've untied it from pay for a number of reasons in order to keep pay increases and compensation as something that's objective, which ends up being more fair for across the board for staff. We use the market value of the position, the direct or relevant experience and tenure of the individual. So this is just a clarification in this policy that removes reference to performance under lump sum payments in a couple of places, and then just removes the sentence that says a performance review does not always result in an automatic salary increase, which is the case, but just removing that sentence for clarification so that we understand that those two things are not tied together. the handouts that are part of the policy have the current policy listed on them as we go through here. And then a section that tells what we are recommending be omitted and what we're recommending adding, and then what the revised policy.
Okay, I think this is pretty straightforward, but does any of our board members have any questions for either Aaron or for Jennifer? Okay, I'm not seeing any questions for that. You think we're ready to go for a vote on that to recommend to the full board? It's a little hard for me to pick up on facial issues when you're like 1/4 of an inch
Say
size.
that again?
You
It's a little
can't see
hard
it.
for me to pick up, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're having a little difficulty hearing you, but so you'd like a vote? Is that what you're asking?
She need a motion.
A motion.
Second.
Yeah.
I'll motion.
Okay. Okay, motion, do we have a second?
I'll second. It's yummy.
Thank you, Amy and Michelle. All those in favor or, yeah, do we need to go to discussion since no one had any questions? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Michelle, I.
Aye.
Yeah,
Yummy.
aye.
Okay, any
I said,
nays?
here's Dr. Weiss. I mean, Ms. Weiss, I'm sorry.
Would it be easier for you to do roll call vote?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, why don't you do that and then it'll be
I'm just
easier.
gonna call, and just so you guys can hear me, Miss Michelle Whitehouse,
I.
Miss Rita Weiss,
Aye.
Mr. Ronald Peace.
Aye.
Dr. Yummy Pandolfi,
Sorry, the mute button wasn't
That's okay.
unmuting. Aye.
Miss Noel Stepp. Aye. And Miss Joyce Roberto.
Traditionally, I don't vote as chair.
Okay,
I'm not opposed, it's just I don't usually vote as chair.
okay. Motion carried.
All right, thank you. On, back to you, Aaron. And Jennifer.
I think someone has, can you unmute your phones?
And Cody, mute.
Cody, can you mute the
Yes.
phone?
Thank you.
It's a background noise. Thank you.
Okay, the next policy is board policy number 340, which is holiday pay. And staff is recommending adding Juneteenth on June 19th each year as a paid and closed holiday for MCPL. Juneteenth became an observed federal holiday in 2021. It lists the current policy there. There's nothing to omit. It would be adding Juneteenth to the revised policy.
Any question, can I take, first let's take a motion and we'll do questions. Actually, this is,
This is Michelle. I have a question. Do we need to, can we get through all of them first and then do one motion, or do we need to go through them individually?
I think individually, in the event that there's an issue with one or the other. I mean, we can do whatever you guys want, but probably. one
Okay,
by-
that's fine.
Okay.
okay, so do I have a motion on this policy addition?
Okay, I move that we amend the current policy of the board to add Juneteenth to a compensated holiday for the library.
Michelle.
You have a second? All right, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. I'm sorry, we were gonna do a roll call. Go ahead.
Ms. Wykoff,
Aye.
Ms. Weiss,
No.
Mr. Dees,
Aye.
Dr. Pandolfi,
I probably should have wanted to discuss a little bit. We have, it's a big deal to add a holiday.
Hey, I'm
Um,
sorry. This is Michelle. I lost my signal. I don't know if you heard my vote. It was aye.
yes, I heard you.
Okay.
Come back. My first response is like to abstain, but I mean, I believe it's very, very important, but, it's like, I don't know when this, how many more holidays we can add. So
Well, point is, I mean, it's a federal holiday.
is the point that we're adding is because we are going along with the ones that the federal government have chosen now, to observe? Is that why we're doing
Tell
this?
you what, I'll tell you what, Yummy, let's go back and have a discussion so that Jennifer can and Aaron can provide all the information. The only reason I went for a vote is because I didn't see any discussion, but I see there's
Yeah.
opportunities to understand. So let's go back and then we'll come back for the vote, okay?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm sorry. I was trying to unmute, but I couldn't get to it.
Okay. So Jennifer, can you answer some of her questions? And or
I
the
would
questions
say-
of anyone else?
Sure. I would say that yes, the impetus for it is that it was added as a federal holiday in 2021. And in 2021, we discussed doing it at that time, but the timetable was real short from the time that that it was being declared as a federal holiday when it was being observed. And so we had elected at that time to table it for a future date. And because of everything else that was happening in 2022, we did not do it at that time. And so that would be the impetus for it.
And if
Okay.
I could just add a little bit, it's an important holiday to our community, and we think as an organization that it's worthy of celebration. And so, many of our institutional partners and partners around town also observe this holiday. And this puts us in line with them. But I think it's a great step forward, and I'm fully behind it. And I think it communicates a lot about what our values are as an organization to observe this holiday.
Yeah.
And also go ahead, Amy.
No, I'm just saying, no, I am, of course, very supportive of what it stands for. And I know there are other things that I'm, supportive of. So I'm just, I guess in my mind, I think it's a huge thing to do that. So I guess when I saw this, it's sort of, when I was looking through this, it did take me a little off guard. But yeah, I mean, and I am inclined to just go ahead with it. I guess I'm just having to process it. And again, it's not because I don't think it's something that I think it's good to celebrate this, but again, I just, there's just so many days, that we can celebrate every single thing that is of, such significant importance. So anyway, I'm sorry. It's just me having to process this. So thank you for being patient with me.
I have a question, Rita.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes.
Go ahead, Rita.
Yes. Juneteenth was a delayed reaction by the state of Texas historically to the Emancipation Proclamation. It is not an extra holiday in historical dimensions. So I would have a very difficult time constitutionally approving it.
Yes.
So you don't have a question? Any questions, Rita?
My question is, why are we doing this when we already have the Emancipation Proclamation that freed all the blacks, all the slaves?
And this is Michelle. Can I just, this is a federal holiday now. Maybe I'm missing something here, but I know on the police department, it's observed. It's a paid holiday there. It's a paid holiday for the city of Kansas City. Every organization that I know of observes this holiday, and it's a paid holiday. And so that's just my 2 cents.
I hear you, but I still think it's a double holiday. We have the 4th of July, don't we, for our freedom? For everybody? Or do the blacks not enter into the 4th of July?
Rita, I think at this point, the question is not whether or not Juneteenth should be a holiday. The question is whether the library should join pretty much every organization in our radius in celebrating it as one of the federal holidays and a paid holiday for our employees. So I don't think it's necessary for us to debate whether or not it should be a holiday. It is a federal holiday. The question is, should we include that as one of the paid federal holidays that we observe for MCPL?
Okay. I will still say no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, I mean, I appreciate both points of view on this, but, I appreciate the discussion. Thank you.
So do we go back for a vote? Yeah, yes, we can go back. I have 3 recorded. Michelle is yay, Rita, Ms. Wyckoff is yay, Ms. Weiss, nay, Mr. Thies, yes, Dr. Pandolfi, yes, Ms. Stepp. Yes. And Joycelyn, are you abstaining? Are you going to vote?
In this case, I will vote yes. Okay,
The motion carries.
thank you.
Okay, the next policy is board policy number 342, which is the bereavement policy. And staff is recommending adding regular part-time employees to the list of staff eligible for bereavement pay. There is an estimated annual cost total of $6,000 to $8,000, which was absorbed in the would be absorbed in the personnel budget, which is pretty close to de minimis if it's not de minimis. Providing our part-time staff are really integral part and very critical part of the framework of the staffing of the library. And they experience the same types of life events that, full-time and benefits eligible staff do. And, particularly when they lose a family member, the enormity of that coupled with the enormity of losing income is, adds an additional stressor. So that's what we're recommending. And it would be omitting the sentence that says non-exempt part-time employees may take unpaid bereavement leave, and then adding and regular part-time to the previous sentence. The complete new policy would be below.
Can you tell me what the policy?
Absolutely. So the policy itself has categories. So like category 1 or would be for your immediate family. So a spouse, parent, child, that category. And that's the equivalent of 3 weeks. Over the course, you have up to 6 months to take that time because of the not just the, you have the bereavement impact, the actual, whether you're having a service, travel time, all those things. Plus, for that particular category, that's usually involves additional business aspects of taking care of when you lose someone. So that one is, particularly broad. And so that's the equivalent of 3 weeks. The next category is, make sure I get is like grandparents, siblings. Grandparents, siblings, parent-in-laws, grandchildren, and that is the equivalent of a week. So for a part-time employee, that's going to be up to 15 hours is all. And then for a third category, it's the equivalent of 2 days, and that's for aunts and uncles, grandparents of like grandparents-in-law, and then like siblings-in-law, and that's the equivalent of 2 days off. And then except for part-time employees, it's 4 hours is what we give them for that. We also allow for bereavement pay of a half a day for if we lose somebody that's an active employee. So for the staff in that particular location to attend the funeral, and we also provide a day of bereavement if someone loses a pet.
Any discussion? I'll take a motion then to take this to the full board.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry.
Are we doing roll call?
I'm sitting in a lobby trying to manage this, so I'm sorry. We're gonna do a roll call.
We have a first and a second from Ms. Stephen. Ms. Whitehoff,
Aye.
Ms. Beast,
Abstain.
Mr. Dees, Dr. Pandolfi,
Aye.
Staff, Ms. Burko.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, the next one, and the next two will be similar. The next one is policy number 346, which is sick leave. We are making the changes that we need and doing the things that we need to do to move from a monthly pay to bi-weekly pay. Paying once a month is definitely can be a hardship, particularly for brand new employees. And so we're making that move, and we think it's super important. We are recommending a revision to this policy that sets the accrual rate per hour of paid work instead of per month. This will allow the current payroll and time system to work without manual monitoring or override. So instead of 8 hours or 4 hours of leave a month, it replaces it with 0.05 hours for the accrual rate. It's rounded to 0.05 hours. And the replacement policy is there. We're wanting to make sure that when we go to this biweekly payroll, that there's not confusion. Right now with the monthly accrual, it would be putting right now there, it's accrued at the beginning of the pay period. Right now, that's when people get their credit. And this, with it going to a biweekly payroll, that will put that, if we left it as monthly accrual, that's going to put it in a weird place during the pay period every time, which can be confusing. And it also, we have to manually take away accruals if someone doesn't work their full amount of time to earn it, like if they're on unpaid leave or something like that. And this would remove that also as something that we would have to do. So it removes that kind of multi-touch problem where, you can make mistakes.
So does it change how many,
No,
doesn't change their sick leave at all? It
No.
just changes on the back end of.
other counted. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, I'll take a motion to take this to the full board.
Motion. We have a first and a second.
Okay, you have a first and a second. Can we do the roll call, please?
Sorry about that. Okay, Ms. Wykoff.
Aye.
Ms.
Can you hear
Wees?
me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry, I'm having problems.
You're fine. Ms. Wees?
Abstain?
Mr. Thies? Dr. Pandolfi?
Aye.
Ms. Step? Aye. Ms. Virgo?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay,
All right. The
Next
last
up
one
on
we're
the
looking
agenda.
at is vacation. For the same reason with another additional tweak that we can talk about. So it would go to a per paid hour accrual versus a per month accrual. We are also recommending that we adjust how the accrual cap is applied. Instead of in 2021, we moved from a once a year accrual cap where we rebalanced one time a year back to whatever someone's annual earning rate is. So someone who's earning 3 weeks a year, one time a year, it gets rolled back to that amount. If they accrue above that amount, they have to use it or they lose it. So that was a once a year rebalance. In 2021, we moved to twice a year. So in the policy is currently March 31st and September 30th that cap is applied. Staff's recommending a perpetual or rolling cap. Again, part of this has to do with the implementing of biweekly payroll and wanting the system to operate in a more automated way, including the way our accrual caps are applied don't work with the system that they want to upgrade us to that we're currently on. And a lot of times some of the things that we do are foreign to other organizations, but it also, the intent of going to twice a year and the intent of this as well is to incentivize people using their vacation instead of having an inordinate amount of vacation banked up. So this rolling cap that we would implement would mean that they would never accrue more than that staff would never accrue more than their current annual earning rate. You can see those there. So for someone who's been here, whose benefits eligible for 2 years or less than 2 years, it's 2 weeks or 80 hours, 2 years to 5 years. And the hours that I'm quoting are for full-time employees, but we do have half-time employees as well. It's 120 hours or 3 weeks. It's 160 hours for those folks that are 5 to 15 years. And it's 200 hours for folks that are 15 plus years. This would apply that cap all the time. So it's the same as what we do on sick, which is if you are at your max, you don't accrue anymore until you use some. So you would have to use some to get below your cap in order to accrue more. And this, again, in order to incentivize people taking their vacation, in order to, we had the scheduling issue in June of every year when our cutoff was June and the accrual cap was applied in June. Everybody who was trying not to lose their vacation was trying to take their vacation in June, which it happens to be one of our busiest months of the year during summer reading programs. So we tried the twice a year in order to further incentivize taking vacation and to try to avoid that scheduling problem, that challenge that happens when you have a bunch of people trying not to lose vacation all at once. And the intent would be to try to get people to spread that out more throughout the year, because we still have those scheduling challenges now. They're just in March and September. And then also the intent for vacation is for people to take time off, and not, and not just to have an amount of money tacked on to the end of their tenure. Everybody pays out vacation as they should because people earn it, but there has to, it's our assertion that there needs to be a balance. And so we want the vacation to be used for what vacation is intended to be used for.
Okay, any questions? Let me first say, from what I understand, they will be getting the exact same vacation score, just going to be accrued differently and hopefully
Yes.
dispersed a little differently. So there's a zero sum as far as cost to the organization, but it will help streamline going to the biweekly.
Correct.
Any other questions?
Sorry, I come from the land of teachers.
Yeah.
This is so astounding to me. Is this normal?
What do you mean? Which part is?
I mean, just the amount of hours that is this normal in
It's-
the land of workplaces?
I think that it's comparable to some. I think probably the 5 weeks is but it's meant to be a longevity, benefit, for someone who's been here for 15 years or longer. So it's, that particular group of people is probably about, and I'd have to look for sure, it's probably about a fourth of our benefits eligible staff that fall in that category. So that 200 hours is that longevity award for that.
Sorry, that has nothing to do with what we're talking here, but I'm just sitting here going, holy smokes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is very similar to a lot of federal programs. A lot of federal employees get similar to that. And it's been that way as long as I've been here on the board.
Yeah. And a lot of our, policies that were written were based on, how governmental policies, have been written.
Any other questions?
Sean's got one.
I know that there was a compensation or salary study that was undertaken. Are these measures connected with that study, or is this pretty much on its own?
We looked at these when we did, we didn't add them to this study because every time you add more stuff, but we did look at them when we did the study in 2016, where we did a total reward study in 2016 and looked at our leave program. And it is competitive with other, governmental entities. Our leave, our paid leave program is.
Good, thank you.
Okay. Go ahead.
Does the vacation time have to be taken consecutively in one block, or can the employees break it up?
They can break it up. And so we do require people to use their paid time if they are taking any time off. So they have to use some form of paid time. So they can take it in as small as 15-minute increments. So for example, if somebody has an appointment and they need to leave work early, then we require them to fill in their paid time to do that. So it's in as small as 15-minute increments.
Any other questions? Okay, then I'll take a motion to take this to the full board. Would anybody like to make that motion?
Did you motion?
You go first.
I'll motion. I'm the only one here. I just motion. Okay. Okay. Yeah, the first from Noel. Second.
Okay, we have a first and second. There's no further discussion. I'll have Teresa do a roll call.
Ms. Wykoff,
Aye.
Mr. Thies? Dr. Pandolfi?
Aye.
Staff? Ms. Virgo?
Aye.
Ms. Weiss?
Abstain.
Motion carries.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Do we have anything next? Do we have any visitors' comments?
I did not have any visitor comments relating to this.
Okay. Do you have any other business? Okay, gonna take a motion to adjourn. Thank you, everybody, for accommodating me. I apologize for not being there in person, but had a issue that you needed to travel for. So thank you very much, and I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Basically, taking at least one day off. Get a second. Or two. Okay.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, thank
Aye.
you very much.